Yeah, so sleep is actually one of the most underestimated factors when it comes to fertility. And it could be a really hard one because when we're trying to conceive, when we're worried about that, it affects our sleep. And then the more stressed we are, the less sleep we get, the more it impacts our fertility, then we're more stressed and the cycle goes on. So that creates an ongoing cycle. And when we're not getting enough quality sleep, it affects hormones like cortisol and melatonin, which not only help you fall asleep, but it also helps protect egg quality and supports reproductive function. So when cortisol, our stress hormone, stays elevated from poor sleep, it can actually disrupt the communication between the brain and the ovaries, which can decrease our chances of ovulation and cycle regularity. And then melatonin is actually an antioxidant, which many people don't know about. It helps protect the eggs from the oxidative stress. Melatonin is important for egg quality, and poor sleep also can affect blood sugar regulation. So when your body is more insulin resistant, it can lead to more hormonal imbalances and conditions, especially in conditions like PCOS or if someone has diabetes. And then on top of that, lack of sleep also increases inflammation in the body, which can interfere with a healthy reproductive environment. We talked earlier about stress and how when your body is in that stress mode, reproduction takes a kind of a backseat. Your body cannot support reproduction while it's dealing with everything else and all the other stressors in the body. So it's not just about how many hours of sleep, but also about the quality and consistency of our sleep and making sure that we're sleeping in a regular cycle. We're avoiding that frequent waking or not going to bed super late. All of those things can have an impact.
And sleep is a hard one too. And I know in other episodes we've talked about kind of strategies around it because it's not as simple, oh, just get better sleep. Like it's also a hard strategy for people who are potentially struggling with sleep or have a lot going on, um, to even kind of to use your words of like the environmental toxin awareness, that kind of also is how we communicate around sleep, like kind of starting somewhere or small little aspects to improve sleep. So, yeah, what could be some small strategies that people could think about to help with sleep?
Yeah. So, like I said, stress is a really big one when it comes to sleep. The reason for that is because the more we think about our sleep and we're like, oh, we're not getting enough sleep, we're not getting enough sleep, that stresses us out, which leads to poor quality of sleep. And so some things that we can do that disrupt sleep can maybe help reduce that a little bit. Avoiding late night screen time. So, not scrolling on our phone or watching TV right before bed. That exposes us to blue light, which can actually suppress melatonin, which helps, like we said, for hormonal balance, egg quality, and regulating sleep. Making sure that we go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day. So I know a lot of people like to sleep in on the weekends or, stay up late Friday nights. And that's fun to do sometimes. But what it actually does is it can throw off our circadian rhythm and it can disrupt that communication between the brain and the reproductive hormones, which affects ovulation over time. So the best thing to do is to set a regular sleep and wake schedule, regardless of what day of the week it is.
Yeah, I don't think people are real like it is. If I think about it is hard if we're staying up later, say a few nights a week and then trying to get back in or even catch like the catching up, right? Due to the lost. So I think that those are all really important pieces to
Yes.
consider for sure.
Yeah. Another one that a lot of people might probably already know about is caffeine. Caffeine reduces the quality of our sleep and keeps your body in a more alert state. So even if you do end up falling asleep, you're not entering into that deep restorative sleep. It's more of a lighter sleep, which is less restorative and your body keeps your body more alert.
Okay. Good one. Caffeine in check.
Caffeine
Okay.
and alcohol as well.
Yes, we all, and alcohol, and even like late night snacking too. Like we think about lots of those kind of things we ingest or eat for whatever reason. And I know you talked about that stress hormone, but if stress and lack of sleep, then our appetite goes up, right? We are looking for those coping
Yeah.
mechanisms which show up in exactly those things that you just said,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people think there's no harm in, a glass of wine before bed, but alcohol, yes, sometimes it's okay, but alcohol actually disrupts that deep sleep that we talked about later in the night. So even though you fall asleep maybe a little bit faster, you're not getting that deep restorative sleep. So a lot of things to kind of think about, and maybe having alcohol or caffeine earlier in the day, instead of right before bed. Practicing self-care is another really big one because of that stress. We want to eliminate stress before bed, because racing thoughts, or feeling of stress keeps cortisol really elevated, which makes it hard to fall into that deep restorative sleep, which affects our hormonal balance and our ability to have a healthy pregnancy.